you should push something up to break up the monotony of double Diablos quests.
I have no idea. Is there something else you want to do that like would?
My required materials are. Oh, wait. Is that a weapon? That's a weapon. It's that and all of the Elder Dragons that are not Basilgeuse and Valstrax. It's the other 5 of them.
What are the other 2?
Narwa and Ibushi.
I mean, I don't care. So you absolutely want to do something other than the double Diablos, right?
I mean, if you're fine with still doing double Diablos, I'm fine with still doing double Diablos, because that's what I've been doing all night.
I'm fine with doing other Diablos. Or double Diablos.
One second, I just got the Sinister Dark Cloths that I needed from the Meowcenaries, so that's another armor I can make.
Ooh. But no, the Thing is a great character. Like, in comics, I think it's really cool. And I think, like, the context of that character is really great. But obviously the fact that, you know, somebody different writes the comics every couple of years means that he can't have a very consistent aspect of that.
Correct, yeah.
It's also funny because, like, the Thing is obviously, like, the most Jewish character in comics, a medium largely created by Jewish people. And he wasn't, like, officially Jewish until, like, the 90s.
That's interesting.
It's interesting.
And he is a literal golem.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like, Jack Kirby was apparently putting the Thing on his, like, Hanukkah cards. He would, like, illustrate his own Hanukkah cards in, like, the 70s. And he would put the Thing on them. So he's been, like, an officially Jewish character since his creation. But he wasn't allowed to be a Jewish character until, you know, the 90s or 2000s. Even though, again, his name is Benjamin Jacob Grimm. He was from Brooklyn, from a Jewish neighborhood, and he's a golem. I don't know. Like, Ben Grimm is definitely up there in my favorite comic book characters, though, because he's a very compelling character just in his, like, kind of nature of it. And I do love that in the comics he is explicitly one of the most beloved superheroes on Earth.
I'm not looking forward to reading old comic books and seeing him say it's clobbering times 8 times every issue.
Yeah, it's not great. It's clobbering time is a great, like, catchphrase that should be used exactly once every issue, at most.
At most.
Yeah.
I'm now just scrolling through threads of people talking about Doctor Doom fan casts. Someone said Mark Hamill. I think he's a little too old, but if they do an older Doctor Doom, he could be really interesting, I think.
Yes, I would agree with that. I wanted to say something that might be a little bit controversial, but I think if you're going to have a Doctor Doom, he needs to be, like, a peak of physical fitness.
I would agree with that still, yeah.
I think Doctor Doom would never allow himself to be anything other than, like, the peak of human, like, physical achievement. And Mark Hamill, love the guy, but he is, like, old and a little bit chubby. Which I have total respect for. I'm also a fat dude, but, like, I could see him, like, as a voice of Doctor Doom. I think it would be a great voice of Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Or, like, a pretty good, like, old Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom needs to be, like, 30s, maybe in early 40s, and, like, extremely fit.
Yeah, he needs to be the mirror of Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. He needs to be, like, the peak of human accomplishment. Which means he is also, like, extremely ripped. I don't know. That's, like, kind of one of the interesting aspects of Doctor Doom is that, like, he is, like, he considers himself the peak of human achievement. And that should be reflected in his, like, physical characteristics.
Someone says Henry Cavill. I haven't seen his Superman or The Witcher, so I don't know how.
I like him a lot as an actor, and I like his Superman if it wasn't directed by Zack Snyder. I could see that if he didn't have like baggage from being another superhero.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to put Henry Cavill as a superhero, there's always going to be the Superman aspect, and it's going to like distract from it.
This person says that if you put the guy who believably played Superman in Doom's armor, then all of a sudden you've got a seriously intimidating threat on your hands. And I think that, to a degree, is true. That just, like, inherently people who don't know things about Doom, if they know that that was Superman,
Yeah,
visually, that's something, I guess. But
I could see it, but I would want at least a couple more years separated because, like, if Henry Cavill had no Superman baggage, I think it would be a good choice. But like, you have the Superman baggage, and that's going to exist for a while at least.
right.
But it's not a bad choice, and I think Henry Cavill is a good actor. He's very good on like Mission Impossible.
Who is Nikolai Coster-Waldau?
I've heard of him. Let me see.
I think I spelled that name wrong.
Who is this guy?
Oh, he was in Game of Thrones. That's why people know him. That's why people. That's why people in a Reddit thread were recommending him.
He if he's a good actor, he wouldn't be a bad choice. But he seems to have like the look for it.
He was a stage.
Oh,
actor.
he was one of the Jaime Lannister. He's good. It's not a bad choice.
Yeah, I just haven't seen him as an actor, so I can't say. His like personal look isn't bad for it, but also he would be masked 99% of the time.
Yeah, but again, he's like one of those things where he's like a big, like buff dude. Again, like I think if you're gonna have a Doom, you want him to like be pretty close to like human perfection. So just like a big, like generally attractive, like European-ish, like white dude who is very strong, like very buff. Always very funny to me that Marvel was just like, we'll just create our own country, and then made Latveria.
Yeah, but I also understand being like, okay, we do not want to attribute these villains to one specific place.
Well, it's always very funny because like Marvel is much less like we'll just make up a random spot for it than DC is.
Yes, true.
DC is just like, we'll just create a random city to have our superhero be a part of. And Marvel's just like, they're New York. They're all in New York.
They're all in New York City.
Why would we need to make a new place for this? But then like you have like Latveria and that kind of thing. But I think an aspect of it is just...
okay, the big ones are like Latveria and Sokovia in Europe, Wakanda.
Yeah.
What's the one in Asia?
I don't know.
Shit. Not in the MCU, please. I was thinking of Madripoor.
Oh yeah, that's it's sort of a like Asian, like South Asian island kind of thing.
Yeah, Genosha, Sokovia.
Well, Genosha is just an entire like weird mutant thing.
Symkaria, which exists to just be a foil for Latveria.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I asked you, but have you like seen much of the George Perez stuff?
George Perez stuff, no.
George Perez is mostly an author, and he's done a lot of like mostly Justice League, but also some Avengers stuff. And he got his big thing that like most people know him for is the Avengers JLA crossover. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
It's very good, but it is a thing where like the Avengers and JLA like meet and fight like cosmic threats together. And it's written by Kurt Busiek, who's done writing for both of those teams, and it's drawn by George Perez, who has done drawing like art for both of those teams. And George Perez recently got diagnosed with terminal cancer, essentially.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, it sucks. And he's got like 6 months to live or something. And one of the things was that people were like, "Oh, we've got a chance to like tell him how much we loved his work," kind of thing. So like one of those situations where like at least we have that. And there was a strong effort from people to like, well, we should recreate his like best work, the JLA Avengers crossover, which is just mired in like a bunch of corporate bullshit. It was released in the early 2000s, and I've actually had a copy of the comic for a while because I bought it randomly when I was getting into comics like 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But it's extremely hard to find because nobody wants to reprint it.
Because one, legal issues, and two, because Marvel refuses to print trades inherently.
Yeah, and like it's sort of one of those situations where like I can print this and I can make some money, but I'd also be making some money for my enemy, and I can't do that. Right. And that's coming from both Marvel and DC. And the situation is that it has recently been reprinted.
Oh yeah.
So they've announced that they're like reprinting it in like some very specific kind of special edition sort of thing, and it's very cool because it is a good comic. And like I said, I've owned it for a while, and it's a lot of fun. It's not like a great comic,
but it's fun, and you like it because it was one of like your first things that you just picked up and enjoyed.
Yeah, and it's like there's sort of like like two versions of good comics where like you have the like this is good from a literary standpoint, and this is good because I also really liked smashing my action figures together when I was a little kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's one of like the second one. But it's very neat because this is a guy who has like been involved in the comic industry for a long time. He has a lot of passion for it, and the fans have a lot of passion for him. And it's nice that he like has the chance to like see a bunch of people like love something that he made again.
And it like got reprinted, and it like went beyond just like the whole. It went beyond capitalism, right? It's like these two companies that are like supposed to be competing, blah blah blah. We're like, hey, because there's clamor for this, because people love this, we will find a way to reprint it. Yeah,
and I think that he's getting like some of the royalties from it, sort of thing, which is useful when you're like dying and
yeah,
you know, you don't necessarily know how your family's going to support themselves.
And you are a comic book artist, which is not a amazingly high paying profession.
Yeah, and you know the royalties have always been pretty rough in comic books.
Right.
But if you have the chance, and again, I own it, so if you're interested in reading it, you should. It's good. It's fun.
Because it is the Justice League and the Avengers going against cosmic threats together.
Yes, and there's a scene where Batman fights Captain America, and they both agree that Captain America would probably win after a long period of time, and it's just like people have been arguing
after a long period of time.
Like kind of like they like get into a fight, and it's like an entire page of them like, you know, like sparring, where it's like two of the greatest martial artists on earth fighting together, and they're like kind of like going through the whole like motions of it, and then Batman's just like, you would probably win this fight, but I think we're being played and we should work together instead.
If we played this out to the logical conclusion, we are both smart enough to know who would win here.
Yeah, and they both agree that it's Cap, but then they're like, no, we should work together to figure out what's going on here.
Is that like
It's
how like
great.
the thing kicks off? Is just like them running into each other and fighting?
It's the beginning of the second issue because there's a bunch of lead up.
That makes sense. So it's like,
Yeah.
how did these universes cross? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so then like Captain America and Batman work together to figure out why the Justice League and the Avengers are fighting. Because it's one of those very comic book things where they like, we're gonna fight now.
Yeah, of course. Of course we're going to fight now. Why wouldn't we fight now?
Yeah, that's the standard comic book thing.
One thing I was going to say about when you were talking about how like the Thing inherently, like the internal conflict is that he does not love being the Thing and becoming blah 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 blah. Something that I think is very interesting about Moon Knight specifically is that like ever since like we got out of like when comic books were like, you know, the 70s and 80s and not good, like they have really leaned into like Moon Knight as a character with DID and like him exploring like each new Moon Knight run like delves deeper into it and is like a continuation of his struggles with that, which I think has been nice because it's not just okay, let's start over and be like, okay, let's just reboot Moon Knight and say, hey, this is the start of his character. Remember when he was a mercenary? Okay. It's just like inherently, if you pick up Moon Knight, it's like, okay, you are going to start with a man who is severely distressed, who like has like 3 different personalities vying for control.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4, and one of them is a fucking god that has just taken up residence in his brain.
Yep.
I know there was a run of Avengers where his god Khonshu does take over the world, where Moon Knight in a single night disables all of the Avengers and takes over for himself. And I know people who like the Avengers are not fans of that, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you just kind of have to like roll with it with comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes a character is going to like just get absolutely rolled by someone else, and you just kind of gotta like shrug your shoulders and go, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, because I mean, like if there were like set and steady and unmovable power rankings of of superheroes, like, well, conflicts would be real boring, and then because it's just like, well, A beats C beats D, why would we ever need anything else?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, like it's just one of those things where like sometimes in order for a story to be told, like weird things are gonna happen, and you just gotta like shrug your shoulders and go like, yeah, that's how it is sometimes.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like Marvel has the what ifs, but also like every single comic is inherently just a what if.
Yeah.
And that run is just like, hey, what if Moon Knight was powerful enough to take over everything?
Yeah.
Let's explore that. It doesn't matter. Who gives a shit about what fucking canon is? It's comic books.
Yeah. Look, some of my favorite comics are just like weird random side things, and it's just like you gotta shrug your shoulders and be like, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
That's how it goes sometimes. 616? Don't know her. Don't care about her.
Exactly.
Especially since like there are like 3 or 4 major Marvel universes at this point, right?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't pay attention to the alternative universe thing.
Yeah, because if something I like takes place in that, sure, I'll read it. I don't give a shit where it takes place.
Yep. Comics are a mess, and if you expect them not to be a mess, then why are you fucking reading comics?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, so you're excited about the Moon Knight television show?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like it is taking from the more modern runs, which is good because those are the good ones.
I was always extremely disappointed when you explained to me that Moon Knight never went to the moon, except maybe in a hallucination.
In hallucinations, yeah, but
Yeah.
You've had a hard time navigating this map today, huh?
Yeah, I'm not.
That's fine. I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm doing bad.
We're just here to shoot the shit.
Yeah, we're here to talk about comic books.
Yes.
Stop hip checking, sir.
No, for some reason, I just totally spaced out to get out of that, like, fucking crevice.
Yeah, well, it's a weird crevice.
So,
But yeah, I think Oscar Isaac will be fun, and like,
so yeah, it does help that Oscar Isaac is a really good actor.
yeah, and I am not inherently attached to Moon Knight the same way I was to Hawkeye to be disappointed in the Hawkeye show.
Yeah, and that's
And
also
overall, I'm not even attached to Hawkeye. I just like don't like Jeremy Renner and really like that specific comic run.
yeah, that's kind of a rough situation there. It's also a very like MCU thing, whereas like Moon Knight is sort of its own thing and has potential to be like different from that whole
Yeah, like
thing.
Moon Knight isn't a major player, so if they do something like a little off the books, like cool, why not? Let's explore other aspects of what this could be.
Yes.
Please, that's like, but not in a stupid fucking way like they do with Hawkeye.
Yeah. Can definitely leave Jeremy Renner.
They can just have Haley Steinfeld be the Hawkeye.
Yes.
They don't need to do the cute thing where there's two of them and she's always explaining, well, okay, yeah, I am a Hawkeye. I enjoy that, but I would be fine if Haley Steinfeld doesn't do it because there isn't another Hawkeye.
Yeah. Just one of the annoying aspects of comics where it's just like, oh, there's like 6 people with this name. All right, who's the official one? All of them? I don't know. I don't understand the question.
If that's a veiled criticism of me, I won't hear it and I won't respond to it. Taint.
I mean, that's obviously more of an issue in DC Comics, of course, but Marvel definitely has it.
Oh, because there are 18 Robins, you mean?
Well, 18 Robins, like 6 Flashes, 3 or 4 Green Lanterns.
There are a few flashes and Green Lanterns, aren't there?
Those are definitely the worst, but they really...
There are,
I don't know.
Something Marvel has, they have a whole fucking lot of Novas.
Well, this is true, but that was like trying to find a Nova that stuck.
And also, I guess, like, they then made the Nova Corps into a thing, right? So...
Yeah, that was always an interesting aspect of... might as well have a Green Lantern Corps, I guess.
Yeah. I have been told that the Nova who is in Champions, Sam Alexander, who is like, like a teen, because that's what the Champions are. I've heard that his run of Nova is good.
Nova's a very interesting thing where like Marvel's been trying to like kind of do something with it for a while, and maybe they finally figure it out.
Maybe. Hello, Rathian. Just walk on through.
Wait, all 3 of them are here right now.
Oh god, this is
This is hell.
this is incomprehensible. Nope, I got hit apparently. I'm on one of them. Are you also on one of them?
I'm also on one of them, yes.
Okay, maybe we can kill the one that's on blue. Nope, no. Target that one, yes. If we kill the one that's on blue together, then you can get off and I can hurt you, maybe?
Maybe. I'm on Punisher, like, so I'm working on this guy, so...
You're Frank Castle?
Yeah, this is me, the Punisher. I will punish them, the crime, and also the criminals. It's me from Punisher. Oh, yep, he's dead.
Oh, hey, and I changed the target for the mounted Punisher. Cool.
Nice. It's me, Punisher Max, which means that it's more mature.
Ooh, a more mature man who murders. Don't mind if I do.
It is funny to have Punisher who is his explicit shtick is that he kills a lot of people. In a comic book, in which killing people is not really like fully accepted.
The Chip Zdarsky, what's his fucking name?
Don't know.
The Chip Zdarsky. He has a good name. Chip Zdarsky, Daredevil is pretty good, actually.
What is the plotline of that one?
Daredevil actually kills someone and is aware of it, and it throws him off, and he does not know how to process it, and he is very Catholic.
Yep. I've read the Mark Waid Daredevil, which is also very good. And kind of like I said, it's like sort of a softer Daredevil, and I enjoy it a lot.
I'd be fine with that because like I like the idea of Daredevil, but I am worried he way too easily becomes way too edgy.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend if you enjoy Daredevil as a character. I would definitely recommend the Mark Waid Daredevil.
Okay.
Because kind of the whole idea is that Daredevil is trying to be like a less like overwhelmingly negative person, and it kind of worries everyone around him
because he's trying to improve himself.
Yes, and it's just like it's like finding out it's just like I've never seen you happy, and he's just like, look man, I'm trying, and if this is a problem for you, then maybe that's your problem.
That's funny.
It's a pretty good
my
comic.
God. I got hit like 10,000 yards away by that tail. Oh, hello, Tigrex. Are we gonna get to do more mounted stuff?
Anyway, I'm glad that someone else is like into comics now, so I can discuss comics with someone.
Yes, and it is nice that you were into comics before me, so I have someone I can talk to stuff about, recommend stuff to, and get recommendations from.
Yes. We should exchange comics at some point, and
yeah, we should, because even though you also have Marvel Unlimited now, I could loan you my Earth X that I bought.
Yes.
Everything that I have is on Marvel Unlimited, but it's still fun to do an exchange.
Yes. And it'd be fun to like get someone to read something that I'm like, oh, I love this. Someone else, I need to talk about this with someone. And like, I'm just the only person I know who reads comics.
Oh my God. Finally. Yeah, and I need to get back to reading some Hellboy.
But yeah, Hellboy's real good.
Hellboy is fun. I love that Abe Sapien's name is fucking Abe Sapien.
It's pretty good.
Oh, hey, there's an Anjanath here. Want to mount that?
Oh my god. Oh, this is chaos. Look, I would mount it if I knew where it was, but there's currently apparently 3 monsters all like
once again
combined.
Yeah. And 2/3 of them are just on the ground thrashing.
All right.
Nope, I'm.
I somehow like ran myself into the wall while it was there, so it's all yours, I guess.
Well, this has been a weird one.
It's kind of a mess.
Okay, I'm going to bite your neck or breathe fire or whatever you do.
Just kill it. I'm going to change the subject from comics for a while.
Okay. That's fair. We've talked about them for over an hour.
Yeah, and it's almost 11. I'm probably going to log off after this.
I was thinking the same. No, don't run away.
But I've read Deadeye Dick from like Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh, I haven't gotten to Deadeye Dick yet. Was it good?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it's like anything like super impressive. It's definitely one of his more middling novels, but it had some good stuff in it. And it's his like gun control novel.
I imagine he talks about his experiences with World War II and frames them through the lens of people in Vietnam.
Nope, none of that.
Amazing.
It is not. It's not a very personal novel, which is part of why I think it's probably just okay. I did think it was like I enjoyed reading it and I thought it was interesting, but it was very much like kind of just an okay Vonnegut novel.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I did enjoy it, and I thought it was good to read it, and it did have some great lines. But I definitely recommend it, but especially as like it took me like 4 hours to read or something. But
Even by Vonnegut standards, that is not much.
no, it's pretty short. But it was definitely it was quick. And I don't know, it was very interesting because it was very like it was pretty unique for him where like it wasn't like super personal and it was pretty quick. I'd say it's a pretty middling Vonnegut novel, which is to say it's still pretty good, but
I'm trying to think of what currently my most middling Vonnegut is. I have a note on my phone where I rank my favorite Vonnegut's that I have read in order.
I'm trying to think. Oops, sorry.
That's fine. Well, that's fine.
Well, honestly, it's probably pretty low on Vonnegut for me, but I also think Vonnegut is pretty good, and I haven't. There's not a ton I think are bad. I'd maybe put it a little bit above like Galapagos.
Oh, I was about to say, I think Galapagos is in that range that you're saying, because like,
Yeah,
I want to like Galapagos more than I actually think it's good.
yeah. Galapagos I've always thought is pretty mediocre.
Yeah, like, I appreciate that he is trying to explicitly write characters who are not just white men.
Yeah, and I think I agree, but
He doesn't do it great.
yeah, and like I don't know if I'm going to point to Vonnegut characters that are like non-white dudes who are pretty good. My go-to is always like Bluebeard.
Yeah, Bluebeard is good. Oh man, Bluebeard's fucking good.
Bluebeard is really good. He had a really great second wind in his like. I think people are like, oh, like Slaughterhouse 5 is good and Cat's Cradle is good and some of the other stuff is interesting, but like once you get past that stuff, you really don't have to pay attention to it. And it's like, no, man, you're missing out on great stuff.
And then like the other one that people always go to is Timequake, which might be my most middle of the pack one of the one I've read.
I'm going to say something controversial. I think Timequake is pretty bad, at least for Vonnegut.
Yeah.
I read Timequake. Or go on.
I was going to say, I knew that was your thought on it going in, and I think I liked it more than you, but I understand why.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, all of my, like, Vonnegut opinions are very, like, gut reaction to pretty weird novels, you know?
Right.
So I don't blame anyone for, like, getting something else out of it, because, like, one of my favorite Vonnegut novels is Hocus Pocus, and I get that most people think that one's pretty mediocre. Now, obviously, it's not, like, well, one of my favorites is probably a bit of an exaggeration, but like I think Hocus Pocus is very good, and I get that most people don't think of that. Don't agree with me on that one. But
Timequake and Breakfast of Champions are my 5 and 6 out of 10.
yeah, I think I like Breakfast of Champions a little bit better, which is again something that I think is pretty unique because I think most people, including Vonnegut himself, think Breakfast of Champions is pretty mediocre.
I enjoyed it more reading it as an adult than I did when I read it in high school. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
And those are both right above Mother Night and Hocus Pocus, which I know you like more than me. My only problem with Hocus Pocus was just that I was just like, yeah, man, you're right. I agree with you. That's all I have to say really about this, and I don't think that you really add anything. I wish that it was like, it made me think about something I hadn't thought about a little bit more, like he normally is able to do for me.
Okay, I don't know if you'll like Deadeye Dick very much then.
That makes sense because he's just like, yeah, I understand why violence can be needed, but also guns exist literally only to kill other human beings.
Yeah, it has a strong element of that to it, I think. And part of the reason I wasn't crazy about Daddy Dick and I liked Hocus Pocus is that I thought Hocus Pocus was a little bit more like aggressive about its position.
Yes, like it is explicitly socialist in a way that
Yeah.
he is, but like he names a character after Eugene Victor Debs.
Yeah, but
The book is dedicated to Indiana socialist Eugene Victor Debs.
So, astonished that guy came out of my home state.
I know,
But,
from Terre Haute.
Yeah, it is very strange. Well, there's a lot of like weird leftist stuff out of Indiana. There's been like a number of like utopian movements that end up settling in Indiana. And it's just like in my home state, astonishing.
Oh, that was also my problem with God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, which is right below Hocus Pocus.
But I think I enjoyed God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, but it is a very slight novel.
Yeah.
It just kind of exists. The thing with Vonnegut is that like I would never be surprised with any like ranking of Vonnegut. Like I can understand someone like taking my list, flipping it 180% or 180 degrees, and being like, "This is my Vonnegut," and I'm like, I don't get you as a person, but I understand your ranking.
Yeah, but like so much of it could just be time and place. Like, what if someone for some reason read Hocus Pocus first and it changed their life? Like, right?
Yeah. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
Would never shock me if someone is like, this is a novel that really made me think about how the economic system is set up in America, and like makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, and like I've never read a Vonnegut that I think is bad per se. I'm trying to think. Have I read one that I thought was bad?
Galapagos is the closest for me.
Honestly, I think Galapagos might be the closest for me too.
Remind me of the name of the author for the Daredevil run.
Mark Waid.
Mark Waid Daredevil.
Mark Waid, you can remember him because he was like probably the most famous comic writer, period.
Stan Lee.
What?
Stan Lee.
I mean, I'm being a bit facetious here, but yeah, like Mark Waid is probably one of the more well-known like modern comic writers. So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend Mark Waid's Daredevil. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's first off very good because Mark Waid is a very good writer, but it's a very, very good in a way that Daredevil is not usually very good.